They said it lasted about 30 seconds, but it seemed like it was an hour or more that it was going on. It was about 5 minutes after 1, and our power was off, so I raised our bedroom window and was getting ready to go to bed. And the wind started blowing, the rain started pouring, and I told my husband, I said, let's put these windows down. It's going to get hot in here, but I'd rather the rain, hit the window than come in the bedroom. So about 1:15, he comes into the bedroom and he says, "We've got to get out of here." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Listen." And the train comes right by the house and you can hear it when it comes by. And I said, "Oh, that's the train. It's time for it anyways." And he said, "That's not the train. Let's go." So we made it to the doorway in our bedroom, and he said, "We've got to get to Dakota's bathroom." He said, "You and Dakota go." So we got to our son's bathroom and knelt down, and just as we got down, it was over us.
It was loud, it was terrifying. I could hear it, and I said, "Oh boys, there goes our house." And it didn't last long. It seemed like a lifetime, but it was just seconds, it was over.
When it was over with, we kind of just stood up, and I looked at my husband, and he said, "I think it's over now." And I said, "Don't open the door. I don't want to see what's out there."
We come out, we came up the steps, and he told us not to look up, and of course that's the first thing you do, and my 16-year-old says, "Oh my goodness." And so I looked up, and there was no ceiling. Everything was everywhere, but he says, "Just keep looking down, watch where you're stepping."
And we came upstairs to find our house in ruins compared to what, it was.
And of course, the next morning when it got daylight, we decided to get out and see what had been done.
And when I topped over the knoll at a place that I go through every day, expecting to see trees and homes, and when I got there, it was destruction. And I remember the silence was nothing like I had ever heard before. It was the most deafening silence. To say we had chaos would not be a far stretch, so my job was to make controlled chaos out of chaos.
The Washington County Board of Supervisors asked the emergency manager, Pokey Harris, to bring together these organizations, these representatives from agencies that could assist us with the recovery process.
We sat down across the breakfast table at a Cracker Barrel restaurant. I laid out a plan for them, the vision of what I would see our long-term recovery group being and doing, and they literally gave me their blessings and their support to move forward. I took the guidelines from the state and I went forward with it.
And so it's Department of Social Services, it's United Way, it's experts in the field of construction, which was vital to the long-term recovery. It's casework managers, because we had to do open caseworks on every single individual that we helped.
Our original charge was to assess all the properties that had been damaged and determine what our criteria for response would be.
When we did our assessments, we knew there were 400 homes that were affected, but of those 400, there were approximately 150 that had little insurance or no insurance. Individuals and families that had adequate insurance, we would help them with volunteers, but they didn't need access to the monies we had.
We addressed the major, overwhelming, wonderful problem of coordinating volunteers, because initially, we had people just showing up in droves.
We knew that our need was greater than the money that we had and were going to raise, and the only way we could make those funds stretch was to work with volunteers.
These guys here came and started to ask us if they could, what we was going to do, and I said, well, I contacted my insurance company and I have some insurance money coming, not much, but some. And they talked and he said, well, what would you think about having a house? I said, Lord, I can't have a house. I don't have enough money to get a house. I said, I'd be happy to use mobile home. I said, right now, I'd take anything to get back home. And he said, well, we've talked it over and we have things that we can do we can get you a house. And I'm dummy, I started crying and I just couldn't believe that we get a house.
We had a mission and we had a goal and we were determined to make it happen.
In the meetings that we were having in May, these were meetings that were going on 4 to 5 hours. People were engaged from the minute they walked in the door until the minute they left. We had cell phone conversations going on everywhere. It was a little bit chaotic, but we were getting things done.
We had the systems, we had the processes. It was bringing them together and using them to cooperate and enhance and work with each other and complement each other in order to get the job done.
And folks jumped in and they agreed to work and to do and to be part of a group that we really didn't know where we would end up. We just knew that it was our obligation as a county and our obligation as a community to help the citizens that had been impacted.
What has happened down here has truly been a remarkable, uplifting story of people working in the best interest of the community. So the people of Virginia have been amazingly generous. It is incredibly gratifying for me as governor to see that where the government's not able to do certain things, that the love and generosity of the community is able to plug that gap.
We want to make sure that in 10 years when something happens, that there's a standing long-term recovery group that people in the community and the local government can turn to and say, you've had the expertise with this, you've been through this, we need to now respond again.
But it's just been wonderful to watch the community come together and to see houses built and homes replaced and lives put back together.
We're now, thanks to the United Way, we're getting the house knocked down and getting everything started, and now we're hoping to get everything rebuilt, God willing. So
We had a bad mess here. We just have got our roof put back on by volunteers. Hopefully soon we'll get vinyls where we'll look normal on the outside again.
And he calls and says, hey, they're here to fix the house. I'm like, it's Memorial Day. They're coming out on a holiday, So, these people came and gave up their holiday to come and fix our house. It was just amazing.